What's going on, guys? Automatic here with a UBL D-League interview, and today I am joined by Veptato.
What is up, my little crops? Vape Potato here, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreikas. Well, actually, my name is Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreikas, and in case you haven't seen my Week 8 battle, I have a little potato meme going on, and I'm sure Frosted and Irish Emerald will appreciate this one. But yeah, I'm here for the interview for the D-League in itself, going into the playoffs.
Yeah, so I will stay away from the potato jokes from now on. I just want to get this in at least once. But anyways, before we're going to get into this, one quick notice for the viewers here, and also for yourself, is we of course have known each other for longer than just this D-League. So if there are any occasions where we have an inside joke or whatever, you kind of know why. And also for you, if I ask you anything which you're like, hey, you clearly know this already, that's mainly because I know, but the viewers probably don't know. So that everyone's just aware about that. But to start off, before getting all serious, a little bit more casual stuff going on. So first of all, how did you actually got into Pokemon in general, and when was that?
Regards to competitive mons, I got through from watching Shady Penguin's channel. First, seeing just his casual Pokemon content that he happened to provide back then and still does. And then just suddenly from the YouTube I saw his playlist of GBA and I saw Wi-Fi battles. And I was kind of curious that, okay, what is this about? And that's kind of where I got into awareness of Draft League being actually happening. I think it was season 3 or season 2 of GBA when I came across with the whole concept, and it kind of has been a snowball effect from there that I then started to follow more people and watched more people regards into the GBA, which is the original Draft League. Then I started to watch Age Rival a little bit. Then I came across with Mega Magwai, aka Miguel, who basically was the biggest influence for me still being here and even attempting to do YouTube content regards to Draft League, and pretty much learn all the basics through him. So it's been over 3 years of experience, and we both of us actually started around the same time as well in your original league in itself, and it's been a long ride since then. And I really just enjoyed the aspect of being able to counter team and being creative and come up different kind of strategies throughout the matchup, and utilizing a lot of different modes that I really didn't see otherwise using in Showdown, playing ladder or random battles or anything like that. So it had to do a lot with people that I happened to watch and who happened to be in the GBA in the good old days, and who I got really influenced by getting into this.
Yeah, so now we're talking about like late 2015, early 2016, if I got the timeline correct.
It's pretty much early or mid Aura's time that I really got into it, where I got into it, and I've been doing it consistently since then.
And before that, because you explained how you got into the Draft League, but did you enjoy casual play, ladder play, Smogon, or was it just basically you got into this and then went right into this?
I haven't really played ever Smogon prior to Draft League. I actually started playing afterwards it, and prior then the only thing what I really did with Pokemon related was just playing the actual games itself as an adult or as a kid. So prior to Draft League playing, I never played it competitive at all, either in prior gens or before I got into the Draft League. So I got into competitive modes around the same time, basically, when I got into Draft Leagues, and it's been really the only competitive way for me to play modes, and the one which I've been enjoying the most. And I haven't really ever gone into this Smogon or VGC as of yet at all, and that's mainly because I really like the aspect what Draft Leagues provide for me in regards to mons.
Yeah, I can for sure see that. You already touched on a few other leagues that you were in. and which also your success you have been in. Just out of the top of my head, you have, of course, the IPL 3 times, the UBC 1 time, Low Tier Draft League 1 time, and I think you also won the UDL 1 time, but you have to correct me on that if I'm wrong.
It wasn't UDL, it was another league that which was hosted by Pacific website, which I told a funny story back then that I got banned from there because I was requiring people for your own league. So that was a league that was a whole nother league. I'm not gonna mention the website partly because I don't remember. Then even if I remember it, I don't think it's proper for me to give them negative perspective because how they handled the situation. But yeah, I have right now 6 titles throughout the past 3 years of playing, and those are like UBC was the only YouTube draft league that I've been part of, which I uploaded to my channel, and right now I'm also part of the NPL Vepsis Season 9 as well, which has been something that I've been really looking forward to, but all of those have been only showdown leagues, and the UBL league, which really was the main attraction for me to be here, was that it provided me not only a YouTube draft league, which I haven't been able to have chance to be part of, but also being a Wi-Fi draft league, and this is the first time for me to play on Wi-Fi on draft league. So in general, it's been like I haven't been able to do it too much. So I have had several draft leagues, but most of them aren't really leagues that audience would be really aware of, because there have been draft leagues that either my friend community or our friend community have been creating together and have been part of, or in general they are just leagues that fans have been creating and not been any kind of YouTube related.
Well, then you kind of already countered the next question in why you probably joined the UBL for now, but so let's zoom in a little bit more about the other leagues, because you've mentioned 6 championships, and that is something which not a lot in this community will have at this point. But out of those 6, which one do you value the most currently, and why?
Currently, it would be still the UBC Season 5, because it's the most recent quote-unquote serious draft league that I have won, since the lower draft league was more so a casual league, where we utilized tier 5s or tier 4s and below in itself. But the UBC Season 5, which was still in Generation 7, I faced a lot of coaches who have been part of NPL community for a long time and were actively playing in that league in itself. And the competition level, what the UBC back then provided me, was the highest competition that I ever had to face, and that really got my own feet wet in regards to having to test myself and in a lot of versus a lot of different kind of coaches who I've been following or looked up to as still being better players than me in general sense. So it was a great opportunity for me to be part of that league, and I felt like as the season went along, I got better and better as a player when I was playing in it, and that kind of showcased how I was able to improve throughout the season and eventually make my title run. So that whole experience is close to it's kind of cringe for say close to my heart, but in that sense I really value it high because the experience that it provided me and how difficult it actually was for me to win that title.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. If we really take a look at that and we see the current D-League season, like you're number 1 seeded, 9-0, plus 34 differential at the top of my head has been number 1 power rankings all the time. Like that kind of gives you the favorite role to go into this playoff race right now. Of course, that's still anyone's game, but if you were to win this D-League, of course we don't know at this point if you do and how you would, but if you would, how would you rank the D-League compared to your other leagues right now?
I wouldn't say it's not. This is not disregarding to any of my opponents, whether this happens or not, if I win this or not. Again, there are a lot of games still to be, well, 2 very important potential games for me to play, even to say that I would win it if I happen to win it. But if I would happen to win it, it would be probably right below UBC Season 5, and I think in the league that you host in IPL, I think Season 4 and Season 3 would still go higher than it. But regards to the competitive level aspect, I feel like the league definitely has good coaches in it, but the main attraction or the main positive side of this, if I would happen to win this league, is that I have still put in a lot of time and investment to this, and I really enjoy the project to be part of the UBL league. And even if the competition level isn't like the top level in itself, it's still something that I would cherish a lot in itself and be really proud of, because it's still a new first Wi-Fi championship that I would happen to win, because all of the others have been on Showdown. So it would be there relatively high for my list. It's hard to say that if I would rank it second highest, third highest, or fourth highest, depending on which aspect I would value most from it. But it would definitely be high up there and be something that I would be really proud of if I would be able to do it. But I'm still being really proud of how I've been performing so far. We'll see what happens in playoffs.
Also you still have to see how the playoffs turn out in general. Like the way you could potentially win it might also impact the way you look back at this whole league in general.
Yeah, well, either way, if I happen to win or not, I'm already really happy and really fortunate that I was selected for this league, and big thank you goes to you and whoever were part of selecting all of us coaches. And for me personally, no matter what happens in playoffs, I'm already proud of it. But when it comes to Pokemon game itself, a lot of things can really happen that can influence the outcome of the win, and this is not the first time that I have been in a similar position going to the playoffs, and it hasn't been always the case that I always come out on top and win it. And I'm very aware of this as I go into these playoffs, regardless of my record and regards to the competition level. I can still lose out right away in round 1, but regards to the league itself, I'm really happy how everything has gone down with this league in itself. Regards to that, how motivated, how positive every single one of us as coaches have been a part of this league. Every single one of us have been, for the most part, uploaded our games on time, and it's been in that aspect really enjoyable for me, and probably the league that I really enjoyed the most recently to really be part of, because it's really different for me to be part of a Wi-Fi draft league. And for me, no matter what happens in playoffs, I'm really happy not only how I've been performing, but also what it has provided for me, and still enjoy Ultra Sun and Moon until we get into the Generation 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have been mentioning Showdown and Wi-Fi for a bit, but this doesn't have to be like a very long question, but what is for you the biggest difference at this point from your first experience between Showdown and Wi-Fi?
I think it's more so about how you have to... For me, it's been relatively smooth transaction from Showdown to Wi-Fi, which I wasn't too sure at first how it would be, because I've been really used to playing on Showdown, and it's a lot easier to have all the information. The working with damage cards is a lot more precise. You can keep track of the moves that opponent runs and PP amount a lot easier. So in that aspect, Wi-Fi provides more challenges to it, because you don't have the information right in front of you every single time, and you have to keep track of things. But for me, it really only changed the way that how I take my time within the turns. How I have to always have good aware of things that have been going on throughout the battle, and kind of just being listing things up, that what my opponent brought, what kind of moves they were running, what around the range of health they happen to be. Kind of have to also kind of guess out of my Yeah, I think sometimes it's a lot more guessing than being able to be precise about Mon's health too, because I don't have the HP bar that some people have on live commentaries as well, regards to Wi-Fi, which helps them out. But for me, it's more so about how you prepare into the games, how you when you're sitting with your 3DS, put a computer or a notebook, list things down that what you see in front of you, and keep track of things that what is going on in the battle. That's the biggest difference for me regards to playing in Wi-Fi compared to the Showdown, where on Showdown you're just literally just clicking moves and thinking, and you don't have to have these other things going on which you have to keep track of. That's really the only difference that I have seen or have had with this.
Which one do you prefer out of the two at this point?
I prefer Wi-Fi, mainly because it's new for me, but I also really enjoy the aspects. Just the crafting itself is really cool. Just be able to play on the 3DS instead of on my computer is a nice difference. And I feel like, especially when it comes to uploading, Wi-Fi looks a lot more appealing to upload for yourself and create the content in. And I feel like it's the same thing in regards to people who are watching that. It is pretty much a factual truth that Wi-Fi leaks are more appealing to majority of the people and do get more views, and that has shown in my YouTube channel as well. Even though my YouTube channel is very small and the view numbers aren't really up there regards to that, which I don't worry about. It's not what it's really all about, but there's a clear difference in that regard too, that how fans are more involved with regards to the Wi-Fi leak, and I can see why. It's more enjoyable to watch, and it's a lot enjoyable for me to play as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely see that's also my own experience with this. To go back to the playoffs now, you said before, as I think I've been around one of those leagues where you went into the playoffs where you were 10-1, 11-0, something, 9-2, something around that, and you lost round 1 of the playoffs. And what do you take from that? I think it happens once. What do you take from that? From that you have the experience of how that went. What are you gonna do different in this battle against Ashmore you're having?
Coming back to that, I'm not sure it was round 1 game. I remember it was very recently in IPL that I faced coach called Carp Chris, who eventually won the title, and I lost to him barely.
I wasn't even referring to that one. I think I was referring to UDL Season 1, I think that was, but it might be wrong there.
Sorry, it cut out for me, I didn't hear.
Okay, I said I thought I was referring to UDL Season 1, but I might be wrong.
That was also a finals game that I lost.
Okay, no, then never mind. Then just focus on IPL against Chris.
Yeah. So basically, like, again, we're keeping people track of this. This is, again, not always the exact same situation, but I've been in situations before where I've been, safe to say, relatively successful throughout the regular season, be able to claim my position in playoffs. And it's not always been rosy for me to able to win the title in itself. And even though I have 6 titles, I think I have won like 1 out of 3 of my finals games. Like might have like 13 or 14, or I don't know what the exact number is, that how many times I've been in finals and regular season titles, how many I have had. But regards to how I have to kind of have a mindset regards to the playoffs is that, one, if you're going up against a coach that you already faced throughout the regular season, you have to always be really cautious of that, how you approach a game that you already faced this opponent once. You have to consider their play styles as well. You have to identify a lot of different kinds of winning conditions, and to me, a very important aspect going to the playoffs, that how you should be winning, is that you don't rely on only one way to win the game, because I have been multiple times already in the past, and some of these finals that have been lost were because of RNG has come into play and took the one winning condition that I was really banking on to execute and win the game, and either the RNG came into my way, which was unfortunate, or it's also been what happened versus Cup Chris, was that I made one crucial mistake which led to the point that I lost to a certain mod that I wasn't supposed to lose to. So it's been very delicate error that has happened either outside of my hands or through my own hands with one specific turn that has lost me the game. And that is a lot to do about the competitive level that like the playoffs is a whole new animal in my eyes at least, because it has a lot more pressure than the actual game it has, and people either they cripple under the pressure or they play even better than they are. And there have been times in the past when I was less experienced that I know I can look back on previous finals that the pressure got into me. And then later aspect, I have noticed that the other coaches have really embraced the aspect coming into the matchup, even as an underdog versus me, and they have very good drive going to the game, and they play pretty much perfectly. And for me, it can be crucial if I make one mistake. So it's about be able to have multiple winning conditions just in case for yourself, multiple ways to see ways to win the match, and be able to adapt to your opponents that you already faced once before throughout the season. There are a lot of I'm not gonna go in more in depth into the feel about it, but those are like the main topics that I see that every single coach has as a challenge to play in playoffs, and those have been the challenge that I've been always dealing with throughout my career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely see those things being the case. You face Ashmore in round 1 of the playoffs, which was your week 2 opponent, which people still refer to as one of the most enjoyable matches of the season. Do you look back at it in the same way as a coach? Because you're not a viewer, of course.
I would say it was a game that definitely pushed me more to my edge, in a sense that I definitely had to make certain plays in order to eventually put myself in a position that I could not lose, especially how I played with my Landersteria versus him and kept the purposely the information to myself until I had to pull the trigger versus his score. But so in that sense, I can see why people, like for example Irish Emerald, who we have been doing power rankings with, has vocally mentioned being his favorite game of the season. I can agree that it definitely was one of the games that pushed me to really actually having to really start going to my limits in some turns in the game and really have to think through things throughout the battle too, and not just focus on my team building and let it play in itself. So it was one of the harder matchups throughout the season. And I also remember when I faced Thumb Brother 2, who is now being replaced by Jetman. I remember that was another matchup that also pushed me to the edge in a different way as well, and made it a lot closer better, because he was very hard opponent for me to really get a good read on that. How does he play? And some plays from my perspective didn't make much sense, but they were having to work out for him back then. And then I also made a couple of mistakes. So either it was Ashmore or it was Thumb Brother, those two games throughout the season, I do remember they were definitely one of the hardest ones as well. But I'm looking forward to this matchup. It's going to be interesting how it's going to go. But I feel confident, especially me now having a little bit of different type of team of my own. Well, not a different type of team, but because I made some transactions, hopefully that keeps things fresh for me, how I can team build versus him and not having to rely on a similar type of build than last time. Or I may be able to utilize some of the aspects and implement some new stuff in. We have to wait and see what I come up with. I haven't actually built a team as of yet as we are recording, so I have to wait and see what happens into that matchup. But it's going to be interesting to see, and it's going to be interesting to see what Ashimo is going to be bringing, because he has a very versatile team and he has shown that he doesn't shy away to try out different things. So we have to wait and see. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Yeah, and also I hate the fact he has two mons that I hate to face in Jirachi and a regular Kyurem. And when I mentioned about RNG being a problem for me in a playoffs at some
Kyurem is worse for you than Jirachi.
Yeah, Kyurem is worse for me. That thing has serene grace, I'm being completely honest, versus me. It has crit it and throws me way too many times. So he has a couple of mons that I do worry about because my personal experience with them or what they actually are, and then also what Ashimo in itself is capable of doing with them.
In general, of course, we have, besides yourself and Ashimo, we have Skyrender and Jetman in the playoffs. Are you happy that you got paired with Ashimo in round 1, or would you have preferred a different matchup here?
I wasn't really. After week 8 battle happened, I secured my first seed, and we started to see a little bit of race for those last 2 spots between 5 teams. I think were in a play for getting into those spots. I didn't really prefer anyone per se. It would have been cool to face Jetman because I haven't faced him yet, and it could have been a cool experience to face him as well right from the get-go. And now we have to kind of wait and see if both of us can win our games and still have a chance to face in finals, but that's too much looking ahead. But I was pretty much okay whoever I would have faced. When it comes to matchup, I think I would have preferred facing Blazing Squid with his newest team that he had, which I didn't have to play against. I think I had the most beneficial matchup versus him on paper. But regards to the others, I felt like it was pretty even. How their team matched up versus me and how my team matched it up versus theirs. So if I had to pick one, it would be Blazing Squid on paper, not regards as a coach.
Okay.
But other than that, I was okay whoever came across.
Okay. Also, time-wise, we are pretty close to wrap this up. So I'll let a few things go for now because we definitely already touched on a lot of things. There's one thing which is probably going to be interesting for the viewers here. I'm going to offer you a deal, and I'm going, for the sake of the question, assume that you're going to accept the deal, although I know in real life you definitely won't. From now on, in every league you're going to join, you will get the first overall pick. But you have to call one Pokemon right now, which you will be drafting every single time. What Pokemon would that be?
Tapu Koko.
Yeah, that came out way faster than I thought you would.
It's only because that one is the hardest to secure for yourself, and it's in a debate to be the best one in a format. So it just provides too many good things. It's so easy to use. So I feel like if there's a one more that I can pick that it's easy to build around with, it would be that.
Okay, since we went a bit quicker through that, if this deal was real, would you have accepted it or not?
No, I would have not. As much as I love Tapu Koko and some other mons like Landorus, Therian, or Kyurem Black, and some other mons that I would be interested to use, I would prefer giving myself always a chance to try out different things, and depending on which spot I am in a draft and what kind of luck I have with people drafting, I rather have options to pick different things. If you're able to use different mons and you allow yourself to use different mons, I feel like that makes you better as a player, and it's always harder for your opponents as the timer goes along to preparing for you and facing you, because you're not using the mon every single time or the same mon every single time. So I think it's beneficial for your coach yourself, competitively wise, to be able to use different things, and just the sake of fun, it's better for you to allow yourself to use different things.
Okay, definitely see that. Then with that, I want to wrap things up from here, unless you have anything else you wanted to touch on.
No, I just want to genuinely thank all, including yourself, who have been running the UBL D-League. It's been a very positive experience. Everything has gone better than you would really want to put your expectations on regards to Draft League in itself. Everything has gone smoothly. I want to thank every single one of the coaches who have been part of the league. It's been a pleasure, quote unquote, working with you and playing versus you, and just overall, it's been a very positive experience to be part of this league. So thank you everyone who have been involved one way or another, and to those who have been helping me throughout the season, regards to Slackout with graphics, and everyone else who have been helping me to upload my games or giving mock battles or gen my mons. So just anyway wanted to thank everyone involved regards to this league.
All right, I think that's a good way to take us out here. So, same to you. Good luck to the playoffs. Thanks for being here, and
thank you.
Of course, for all the viewers, be sure to leave a like rating on this video. Check out Vepsis' channel if you haven't done already. Of course, playoff matches will be there, so for sure be sure to watch out for those. Join the UBL Discord, which is of course in the link down below, and we will see you guys back the next time.